In fact, things began before 2006, and these are the few years I want to talk about. When I joined W3C, I'm in the team of W3C, there was a network of offices all around, mostly in Europe, but also in Australia, Morocco, Israel, India, and later Korea, South Korea. And my first job at the team was to coordinate the activities of all these offices. And China at that time meant Hong Kong. There was an office in Hong Kong. I don't remember exactly when it was created. I think it was 98, before my time. I joined in 2001. And it was hosted at the HKUST, which you see the campus here on that beautiful place overlooking the bay. I had some nice memories of the time. We have to remember these three persons. Vincent Chen was the manager. He's professor at the university. And there was a manager until 2004 called Yami Yuan. And then from 2004 onwards, it was Eva Tam. These three persons were the Hong Kong office in practice. And they organized all kinds of events in Hong Kong and presentations to university students, etc. And Vincent's vision, I am paraphrasing a little bit, when I joined the work, was by the time I retire, and he was not a young person at the time, if you look at the photo, the Hong Kong office should disappear in favor of an office in mainland China, preferably in Beijing. And our agreement sort of was that from that point on, the main goal of working together was to make that a reality. I had to convince my management at W3C and my team members in W3C that this is something we should do, and he used all his contacts to locate the right persons. And believe me, that was not easy whatsoever, but anyway, I can say, and we have to pay them tribute, without these three persons, we would not be here. They are the ones we have to thank as the first step. We were 2003, 2004, and China was not the China of today. It's absolutely amazing for me to see the difference over these more than 20 years. It was much more close to the world than it is today. The contacts were weak, even if the internet was developing like hell in the country, but it was a bit isolated. The international contacts were not like they are today. So that was one problem, and it was difficult to find the right contact. And I had to educate people around me in the team that, yes, this is something we should do. And believe me, it was not easy. There are a number of people around who said, what the hell are we doing in China? We have Hong Kong, it's enough, we don't need that. So it was a job to do. We actually had failed attempts over the years. So we had a meeting in 2003 where we wanted to try and discuss with the China Computer Federation to be the host of the W3C office in 2003. Actually, that was postponed by a year because originally we were planning to go in 2002, I believe. And for those who are old enough to remember, that was the SARS epidemic, which was the precursor of the COVID. And therefore, everything was closed and we couldn't go there, and we had to pick it up. For some of us here, there are some people in the team of the time. You have Professor Vincent Chen there. So, you know, this was a failed attempt. It did not work out. We had a similar meeting in Guangzhou a few years later, in 2005. Again, it was at the university, the Sun Yat-sen University in Hangzhou. We had a presentation, a small workshop, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. And then comes the next person who played an important role, is Jinpeng Huai, I should say, Professor Jinpeng Huai, who at that time, to be very honest, I don't know exactly what was his rank. I think it was Dean of Beihang University. But much more importantly, he had the vision that they have to have an international outreach. And so he was the contact which actually made the whole thing work. And that led to the 2006 Beihang University office. You see here a photograph of the opening ceremony which took place. To be honest, I don't know exactly where. It might have been at the hotel which was very close to the university. I don't remember. And so these are the two facilitators. I think we have to really pay tribute to Vincent Cheng and Professor Huai, because they are the ones who had the vision from within W3C and from within China to create this office, and that's how it happened. There were also some other persons that I would like to remember. The first manager of the office was Zhongxia Du. She played the role of what Yami played in Hong Kong to have the whole office, getting off the ground. I worked a lot with her, and I'm grateful she was around. We have Anshi, whom you may have known, who joined the whole story at that time. Actually, the photo on the left, I don't know if Anshi remembers that. We had a visit to Hangzhou together at the University of Hangzhou. That's when I took the picture. It was a long time ago. Chu Ming was the other person who played a very important role at the beginning. He was the manager, the co-manager of the office. He was really the manager in practice, and we had a lot of good time together. I had good memories of all the time we spent. The W3C office also played the role of the first web conference that took place in China in 2008. I think actually Anshi's first important role was to organize this conference, and she did a brilliant job. So these are the persons let's thank them. They are the ones who made this existing. That's why we are here. That they have them in the years of 2000, which was, the pioneer years. Let me just remember one more person, Klaus Birkenbiel, who took the office management after me. He actually spent a lot of time in China. I think he spent at some point several months in China helping the office to take off the ground, and he played a very important role. I think we should also remember him. And then the office became the China host, but this is for someone else to explain and to tell, because I was not in charge of that transition anymore. Others were. I think it was mainly the initiative of our chairman at the time and of Anshi. And let me just thank for all these years. I have absolutely wonderful memories I spent in all these cities over the years. I met a lot of people. I became richer by a little bit more familiar with a culture that was new to me. And thank you very much.